Hey, ladies. Today I'm early. We're going to talk today about how to identify a worthy man. And I have for you today four traits. And all this information I want to tell you that comes in the book, The Power Woman's Guide to Dating, that I wrote last year. And I want to help you so you don't fall for the wrong guy, okay? Last week I was speaking about one of the worst traits, that is the narcissist. You want to avoid that guy at all costs. But because I have received so many questions and I see already a lot of confusion about how to identify a good guy, I did decide today to be talking about this, and the next week I'm going to be talking again, and I'm going to be doing this every week about the bad traits and the good traits. So this today is about how to identify a winner, the worthy guys, the guys that really deserve your time, your heart. They deserve your emotions, okay? So still, you have to be super careful, and there is an art about how to really identify a guy. But these traits, they're going to already be helping you to identify this kind of man, okay? They're super important. They're very telling, and you have to be also careful that you do not get confused, because at the beginning, men are really sneaky. They're going to tell you and act things out. You have to be super careful, okay? So the four traits, by the way, there are more traits. They are all in the book, but I'm going to tell you four of them. So the first one, okay, he is responsive and he's self-accountable. What does this mean? Well, it means that he is going to listen to you. He's going to put his ego on the side. And this is something that is super easy to identify in a man. If a man is willing to really let you express yourself, express your emotions, express your anger, express your wishes, your desires, your dreams, and he really pays attention to what you're saying. It's really telling. There is oftentimes we get caught with men that they are only talking about themselves and they don't really listen to us. And especially at the beginning, they seem to be interesting because we only listen to what they are saying. They are all about themselves. And this, my friend, it can be tricky, because yes, you can fall for a guy that seems to be super interesting, super exciting, have a very interesting life. But you need to pay attention to the signs that if he's just talking about himself, well, his ego is very big. And even though you can fall for this kind of guy because he's very attractive, very interesting, very confident, along the line, you're gonna feel left out. This is the kind of guy that you have to be careful. So you want a guy that, yes, he's going to be interesting. He's going to be talking about himself, about his success, about his career, about his dreams. But he also needs to listen to what you have to say. And he must be also curious about you. This is something that is super telling. If a guy is really not just talking about himself, but also asking you questions, and he listens to, well, this is a guy who is worth it. He wants to know more about you. It's not everything about himself, okay? And also it's self-accountable in the sense, this means that he's not going to be only guessing a relationship, okay? If he, for example, this is something that is super important, that if there's something that he doesn't agree with you, for example, this can happen right at the beginning or in any time in the relationship. That is normal. We can have disagreements with the other person. That doesn't mean that he's a bad guy. But if he yes the relationship, says yes to everything, that is also not good, because this is someone that he's going to really suppress his feelings and his emotions, and his real personality is going to be in the back seat. So you don't want this kind of guy. You want a guy that's not a doormat, that he speaks his mind, but even though he doesn't share his views, he doesn't share your views, actually, that doesn't mean that you cannot agree in other things, and he doesn't respect it. So you can have disagreements, but he's going to respect your views. This is what it means, be self-accountable, okay? So these two things, being responsive and being self-accountable, count for one, but actually there are two. I'm giving you two in one. This is the first trait of a guy, okay? The second one, he actually is a guy who appreciates humor. So this guy is going to appreciate that you, not just only that you're funny and that you are goofy. He can be goofy and he can appreciate humor. It's not just about that. It's more about the appreciating, okay, the ups and downs of a relationship. And this just has to be, of course, within the limits of something reasonable. For example, if, my goodness, you arrive late and there's a reason and you explain him, he's not get mad. He can take it like in a certain positive way, you know. This is the kind of guy that is a really good match, a good catch, a worthy man, a winner, if you will. I call it a winner in my book. So a guy who's going to be this easygoing, who's going to try to take always the positive side. This is what I mean in having humor, okay? Having humor for life, because life is going to be up and downs, but if he's going to always see the glass fuller, okay, this is a good guy. So check out for those traits. And the second trait, the third trait actually, is to be authentic. And this comes together with the traits of the narcissist. So it's actually the opposite of the narcissist. Being an authentic person means that you are one in one-on-one with you, and he's the same with his friends, he's the same with his family, he's the same at work. He doesn't change. He doesn't have this kind of two faces. And let me tell you, I have experience with those guys. The narcissist, like I mentioned last week, right? They are really very dangerous. This is a very dangerous trait that you have to be very careful. So the one guy that is authentic is a guy that is going to be always the same here with you, and even if it's with somebody else. This happened to me. I live literally with someone 2 times, actually 2 relationships where the person was a narcissist, and he was someone with me and he was somebody else with society, with the rest of people. And this was also very telling. This repeated itself, and when I started to study these traits, it's really something that is common in narcissists. So you really are looking for someone who's authentic, someone who is the same person with you, with his friends, with his family, when he's only with you or when he's in a group of people and also you are there. Okay, of course, sometimes people are getting exciting, right? Sometimes some things can be that you're going to see little differences, but this is nothing that really affects the quality of his personality. That's what I mean, okay? One example of this, I'm going to tell you something that I live personally often, sadly, is like, he was happy when we were in a gathering, a social gathering, and he was happy with me, and he was like, wow, and all about me, and, you know, showing like we were a perfect couple. And then we were alone, he was mad, and he was like this nasty person, you know, without reason, like literally, you know. So this is the kind of double face you have to avoid. And of course, at the beginning of a relationship, it's hard to see that, but you can see little details like what I mentioned last week, when you go to a coffee, how he treats other people, not just you, you know, because he wants to have your favors, he wants to have your love, probably he's interested in you. So you have to be very careful, because bad people, narcissist guys and manipulators and abusers want love, and you have to be careful not to fall for those guys. Okay, that is the third trait. Now the last trait I'm going to share with you today that you have to look for a guy, for a winner, is a guy who wants to keep learning and wants to keep growing. This goes hand in hand with what it means to have this growth mindset. Okay, someone who is willing to accept that he doesn't know, someone who is willing to learn about new things about life, self-development. Okay, self-development is more important for women than for men, that is true, but it's still someone who accepts that life is more than what he does and what he do and what he knows. So someone who's really open to new experiences, but sharing them with others, not just by himself or in secret or without you, because this is something that is also very careful. This is, I speak about him in my book. I speak about the cheater is someone who wants to live, is open to new experiences. So next week, I'm going to be continue talking about those traits that you want to avoid. So one week, I'm going to do something you want to avoid. Then another week, something you have to look for. So today, the 4 traits, I'm going to repeat it, that you want to look for in a man, okay? It's a worthy man. So number 1, it was he's responsive to you. So he listens to you. He's not a doormat. He might not agree with your views, but he's going to respect them. Okay, this is the self-accountable. The second trait is he appreciates humor. Okay, so someone who is going to be positive of life, even if something is bad, going down, some lows. Okay, so number 3 is he's authentic. He's the same person with you or with others. He's the same person, same values, the same morals. And last but not least, he wants to keep learning. And okay, now I just tell you the big portrait, but ladies, if you want more information on how to really recognize a man, there is an art of it. And I am about to launch my group, Dating Mastery. So I'm going to teach you everything I know, and I'm going to tell you everything you have to check, what you have to ask, how you ask, when to ask, and what to say, what not to say. I'm going to tell you everything. So you're going to become a dating master, and you're going to really attract and filter the right guy for you. If you're interested, I'm going to put the link under this video, so you could just go and just put your email. I'm going to send you a PDF with the greatest strategies about greatest strategies to attract a great match. And you're going to be on my list, and I'm going to be sending you the information when I'm going to be launching this Love a Master. No, it's not Love Us. Dating Mastery program that is coming soon in a couple of weeks, in 3 or 4 weeks. I'm going to be launching this program to help you in your love life, so you're not going to attract a bad guy, you're going to attract a winner, a great guy. Okay, I hope this information, ladies, serve you, and see you next week with something that you don't want to attract, something that is bad, and you have to be very careful. So see you next week, ladies, and have a wonderful weekend.